big win for the EPS ahead of the Erode East by-poll election. The OPS faction of the AIADMK has withdrawn its candidate from the Erode East by-election scheduled to be held on the 27th of this month, Gargi.
That's right, and this saga has been on for such a long time. Now, this after the Election Commission is set to accept the EPS nominee as the AIADMK candidate for the Erode East by-poll. Let's go across to Sam for more on this. And Sam, tell us how this came about. There were negotiations and finally a big win for EPS.
That's right. As far as this particular Erode East by-election is concerned, Gargi and Divya, this is a shot in the arm for EPS and team. This came about after initially both these leaders said they would contest representing the AIADMK. At that time, there was uncertainty whether they would get the two-lead symbol because as per the Election Commission records, these two leaders ought to sign together, which was unlikely to happen. Later, EPS had gone to the Supreme Court asking for a directive to the Election Commission to accept his team as the official AIADMK since the AIADMK General Council had elected him as the interim general secretary last year and expelled OPS. And Election Commission said its job is not to look into that particular election process, but the Supreme Court directed the ADMK two teams to route the selection of the candidate, the procedure through their general council. Accordingly, EPS had written to all the general council members asking whether they are fine with his choice of the candidate or otherwise. And all of them, we understand, had said yes. And taking those papers to the Election Commission with the backing of the Supreme Court directive, yesterday the Election Commission accepted their filing and instructed the returning officer at Erode East constituency to accept the Presidium Chairman of the AIADMK led by EPS as the person who would sign the Form A and Form B to get the two-leaf symbol. And this implies that whenever the AIADMK would file nomination, which today is the last day for that, automatically that person would be taken in as the official AIADMK candidate. And yesterday, OPS also announced that his candidate would withdraw from the race. He did not want to be seen to be fighting against an official candidate. But still, the larger issue is pending in the Supreme Court whether the election of EPS itself is valid or not. But this is a temporary advantage for EPS. We'll have to wait and watch what the final order would say. That would determine who will be the permanent boss of the AIADMK in this context, Divya and